How's everybody doing this evening? I want to welcome you to another episode of A Man and His Thoughts. I am your guy, Andre. This is my guy over here as well. He's always a part of my videos. Today I kind of want to do a small recap, and I also want to kind of go over parenting time and kind of goes over what the best interest of the child is, because I think a lot of times we don't know. And a lot of guys have been hitting me about, what does that mean? I don't understand it. There are also women that also have those same questions. And I want to say definitely shout out to those women who are working, co-parenting with the father without the help of the courts. Because I think if you two are able to lay down together to make this baby, you don't need somebody else telling you when and where you should be seeing this child or taking care of this child. As a man, you should be taking care of your child, period. You know, and you women, if that man wants to take care of his child, stay out of his way. And I said that on the last video. I'm going to keep saying it. Stay out of his way. Let him do his job. And if you got a new man, that's cool. That's just added support for that child. But he also needs to understand that that child does have a biological father that is involved. And so it should be a team effort. You know, we have to stop fighting, and guys need to stop peacocking when you know, they got the woman now, or they woman and moved on. You got to think about what's best for your child. All this dumb shit that I've been seeing on the internet, you know, a lot of you girls fighting in the cars over your baby daddy, and a lot of you dudes running up on your baby mama's new guy. And I don't like to use the term baby mama, but I'm just using it for the sake of this. And now you'll hear me refer to kid's mother a lot, or kid's father, because that's what I like to say. But we have to make sure that we're role modeling for our children every day. The reason why we have, or some of the reasons why we have so many kids in detention and out here in these streets, is because they see what mom and dad is doing out here. And you got way too many dudes making it okay that our young boys and our young girls are acting a fool. You know, they have this, oh man, ain't nothing wrong with them. You know, that's just what we do in the hood. But then you're quick to point the finger at the man that's holding me down. The man that's doing this and that. No, you're doing it. I know a lot of thugs, but when it comes to being a parent, they on their game. They at conferences, PTA, they checking the kids when they out of line, they fixing the kids cereal in the morning. Unfortunately, they just in the street doing the other thing. So I mean, it is what it is. So I say that because a lot of times guys in the street gets a bad rap that they don't take care of their children. But I know a lot of guys who are in the street who takes care of their children better than dudes who got a full-time job and it was considered a good job or outstanding citizen of society. So don't ever judge a book by its cover, is my point. As I said, I'm a big advocate for being fair when it comes to this child support system. It's really about making sure that both parents are involved. I'm talking about all the way from high-end celebrities to the regular common man. I don't believe it costs $400,000 to raise a kid. Now, if you want that $400,000 to continue your lifestyle, then that didn't say that. But didn't say that. Your kid don't need Balenciaga shoes, Gucci shoes. If you choose to buy them, then cool. Because there are a lot of celebrities that I've seen that go to Payless or go to Target to get their kids clothes. That's a parent choice. Now, if you was brought up like that as a woman or a man, and that's how you were raised, and you living in a 10,000 square foot home, then you deal with that in like spousal support and all the other stuff. But don't come for child support. I want $100,000 or $300,000 a month. That's dumb. That's ridiculous. And it's a shame that some of these, you know, judges allow for these rulings to happen. It's ridiculous. And, you know, I think it's ridiculous that so many men are in jail for child support. Because what are you doing? What are you doing? You in jail for 3-4 months or a month. Guess what? You come out, you still don't got a job. So the cycle continues. So now I don't have a job. Now I get behind my arrearages. Now I get a warrant. Now I'm back in jail. I missed that interview. Lost opportunity. I'm out of jail. Got to do applications again. Hopefully get a job. My arrears are stacking up. I can't make payments. I got a warrant. I'm back in jail. If I can see that, you people with law degrees that sits on the top of the mountain, y'all should see that. You guys should see that. Oh, it's a nasty circle. But this is where you men have to come in and fight for your rights. You have to come in and say, hey, I'm here. This is what is about to happen. But as long as you don't do that, then you're going to continue to be in this circle. And I want you guys to understand, just because you got a felony don't mean you cannot fight for your kids. Don't let them tell you that lie. Yes, you have a felony. Yes, you have a felony. I've even, because I've worked in detention a lot, and I've even seen people who had a CSC charge and they still got custody of the children. I've seen people that have had major felonies, armed robbery, burglaries, and they still got custody of the children. So you guys that got felonies, don't feel like you cannot get your child. You just have to make sure you got tools in place to make sure you're doing things appropriately, making sure you don't have any current warrants, making sure you're following your probation, making sure you have a stable home, making sure you have a job, making sure you're in a proper environment for your child. Forget the homeboys you ran with. Forget them. You're living for your child now. And I say that to men because we get up in this whole, my boys, my crew, then you got that one ignorant dude, oh, you gonna leave the hood or you ain't with the crew no more. No, because you have to grow up at some point in time and raise your child. That's just what it is. At some point in time, you men have to grow up and raise your child. Leave your homeboys where they at. They'll be okay. Kick with them on Saturday. But Monday through Friday, you being a dad. So I say this again, men or women, fight for your children. Whether you got a felony or misdemeanor, you can have custody of your child. Don't let them sit here and tell you can't. Because that's how a lot of kids end up in foster care. It's over 100,000 kids in foster care, I believe. Why? Because as adults, we're not doing our job. We're more interested in getting high, drinking out the bottle, chasing after a raggedy dude or a raggedy girl while our kids don't got nothing to eat. We have to be accountable, period. So as it relates to, coming to the child and so when you file, there's a thing, like I told you, called a fee waiver. You got to go to your county clerk. It's called a fee waiver or a suspension of fees. And that basically will waive your fee when you file a motion. A motion for parenting time. It's a motion for parenting time. Okay? And so when you're filling out that form, that motion for parenting time, you need to check what is it that you want. There's parenting time, there's custody, there's child support. If there's an issue, check all three. Because if you don't, they're only going to address the issue that you checked. So you have to check those forms. On the next video I'm going to do tomorrow, or the next day, I'm going to kind of do all the forms for you guys. Actually, I think I may actually have some forms here for you. Actually, I'm going to print them off because they got names on the ones I currently got. But I'll print them off and I'll do a video for the forms that you need for tomorrow. But when it comes to establishing, custody, usually the judge has to ask, does that child have an established custodial environment? That means that's a stable, good environment. Now, just because you may be with mom doesn't mean it's a stable environment. It just means that dad may have not know how to file. So that's one of the things that the judge look for. And also for the guys, it's going to take you to provide some evidence that will change the arrangement. So you have to look at that. So just because the mother has custody, you have a rights. She can't up and just leave. Now, she can up and leave, unfortunately, if you don't have any rights, if you don't have any court rights. But you have to go down there and file, guys. But that's neither here nor there. And also, when you're establishing a custodial environment, the judge look at what is a child's life like. Does a child look for one or both parents to provide love and affection, food, housing, and other needs? It's also how long has the child been in this particular home? So those are some of the factors that judges look at. And if it's not looking your way, it's okay. You have to provide the evidence why you want to change it, why you want to say cut the child support or alter the child support, or why you want to alter parenting time, or why you want custody changed. So some of the interest factors that I've seen judges look at is one is the love, affection, and emotional ties that exists between the parties involved. Is dad withdrawn, or is mom withdrawn, or both parents show that love and affection for their child? You as a dad, you have to show that evidence that you love this child, that you have affection for this child, that you have that emotional connection for that child. And then the next one too is the capacity of disposition. In terms of as it relates to, can you give love to that child? Can you give affection to that? Can you give guidance to that child? How do you look at the educational piece? Can you continue educating that child, whether it be school or just or life or religion? So those are the things they also look at as well. One of the other things is, the basic necessities: food, clothing, shelter, medical, understanding certain laws when you talk about medical care and kids' needs. And so those are some factors that they also look at. That can you do that? Now understand, the things I'm saying is for can you, when you go to court, these are the things that you can provide. Like, hey, this is what I can do for my child. So I just gave you three. I just gave you three of them. Next, this is where it kind of gets dicey for some guys. The length of time the kid has lived in a stable, satisfactory environment. Now, sometimes parents, moms up and leave. That doesn't mean that situation is stable. It just means they had the control to be able to do that. So, if you're a guy that got parenting time and your kid's mother has, forced you or put you in a situation where you're not getting your parenting time, that's not stable. That's not in the best interest of the child, because the state of Michigan, it's in the best interest that both parents are involved in the kid's life. Remember that. What is the moral fitness of both parents? Are you morally capable of raising this child? Is she morally capable of raising a child? Are both of you guys morally capable of raising this child? It's another example. What does the family unity look like? What would that home look like, Dad? When you get that kid, what does it look like? Is it the jump off spot? Everybody and their mama coming through? Or is it a nice environment where, certain people like general family and it's just a good, safe environment? That's another factor. What does your home life look like? One of the biggest things is, what are the mental and physical health of you, Dad? Dad, if you're in a wheelchair, yeah, you can still get your kid, but at the same time, they're going to look at it as like you're handicapped. How can you provide? How can you get up if this kid fall? What can you do? If that's not the case, which is rarely is, what is your mental, physical health? Are you suffering from some type of depression or some type of mental health issue? You have to look at those little factors. Those are factors that they look at. And those things that you can address, like, hey, mentally healthy, I'm physically healthy, I can go to my kid's school if I need to, I can pick them up, we can run around when we play at the park. You have to give examples of your mental and physical health that you're okay. What is your home life like? What type of schooling will the kids attend? Will you just send them to any old school? Would you take the time to research schools? What is the community like? Because unfortunately, we have a lot of bad communities, and I know money is tight, and you have a lot of slumlords out there who just fix up these little houses and throw people in them because they get assistance from the state and they get, they Section 8, so they don't give a damn about fixing the house. I got that. Okay. What is your community like? You can find a good community to raise your child in. Because understand, this is about you getting custody of your child. This is about you getting custody of your child. So I want you to always keep that in mind. And when the child gets old enough, the child can also make a decision. When they get like 13, I think in Michigan, they can also decide what they like. Now the judge doesn't, or whoever doesn't take that as law, but they just keep it like, okay, this child, even though they still mom, they want to see dad more. They want to build that. And so they weigh, heavily on that. And as a dad that want custody, it's also important that you want to encourage, like, hey, I want my child with me, or I want my parenting time, and I want them to be involved. We both should be involved in our child's life. Don't ever get so bent on slandering the other party, because now you look mad. Even though you may be mad, it's verbally coming out. You're bitter, you're angry. Always stay focused on the best interest of the child. Always. I'm not saying let that person get away with talking crazy. You address it quickly and you move on from it. Keep the focus on what's best for your child. And remember, the best interest of you is you being involved in your child's life. Always remember that. If you have issues, dads, with domestic violence, understand those things will come up. So you need to understand it's all about having a safe home. It's all about having a safe home. It's all about having a safe home. So I gave you about 10 things, 12 things you can look at when you go to court. And these things that you need to address in terms of what you can bring, like why you want your kid back with you, because these things is why it's in the best interest of your kid to come back home, because you can provide a good education, you can provide a good home, you can provide love and support, you can provide stability. You know, you have a community support of people around you, friends that's in different areas that can help you. So those are some things that, you know, dads, that you can look at to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. And so on my next video, I'm gonna show the forms that you need to use to file motions or whatever you need. A lot of this stuff is on the Michigan courts website, or whatever city you in has a state website that you can go to court forms. You can find all the forms, but a lot of guys still don't know how to do it. So with that being said, you can always hit me at andrebrown821@gmail.com. That's A, D as in David, R-E, Brown@gmail.com, and ask me any questions, give me any feedback, and we can kind of work together. And understand this is for women too, so don't get it twisted. Women, if you got questions, feel free to shoot me a holler as well too. Even if you don't know what to do, if you're in a situation you have a kid's father and you don't know what to do, shoot me an email and we can kind of talk about it, and we can try to figure it out together and try to, you know, see what we can do about it, because there are a lot of women who have patience with their kid's father and they want them to get it together, and I appreciate y'all for that, because all dudes ain't bad. Okay, what happened between y'all two is over. It's over. You have to focus on this child now. But dudes, you know, dudes get a little sensitive, a little emotional when they get rejected. And so a lot of dudes, if they can't have you, then they don't want that child, and that's a punk move, unfortunately. But shout out to you women who put these kids on your back and just ride off into the Senate and handle your business. Much respect. You dudes, you out here laying with all these women, take care of your kids. Shout out to the dudes who take care of other men's kids. And you dudes who left your kids, stay out the way. Let this new man take over. If he's willing to take over, let him take over. Let him do his job. But you got to be smart, them dudes who take over. If you're making a choice to be in this kid life, stay in that kid life. If things go wrong with the mother, you made a commitment to those children. It's not their fault. But we're going to get this thing together. Hit me up at andrebrown821@gmail.com for any more questions. And like my principal should say, believe, achieve, succeed. Till next time.